itself, we can see that a descriptive type is more on describing and uses more adjectives. Here is an example. Maria has two big colorful pet birds. The green bird always sings. The blue one likes dancing. They eat yummy foods. They flap their beautiful wings when they dance and sing. If we see, there are underlined words. These are colorful, green, blue, yummy, and beautiful. These are adjectives. Notice that the paragraph also focused more on describing the pet birds, and it uses adjectives. With these clues, we can say that it is a descriptive text. The other type that we will learn is the procedural or sequence. A procedural text is a piece of text that tells how to do something. Its purpose is to provide instructions for making something, doing something, or getting somewhere. Examples of procedure texts include recipes, itineraries, instruction manuals, directions. Usually, the signal or transition words used are first, firstly, second, secondly, then, finally, or lastly, which shows sequence or procedure. Here is an example. Turning on laptops is very easy. First, press the turn on button. Next, wait until the users appear. Then, choose which user you use. Lastly, click the user. The highlighted words are transitions that shows sequence or procedure on how to turn on laptops. Now that we have discussed the three types, let us have a short practice with your learning partner by answering the guided practice below in your module. With every activity, you may pause this video as you answer each task. Then continue after you have finished. At the end, you will be shown the answers of all the activities so you will know your progress. Under the guided activity or a guided practice, read each selection and identify the text type used. Write them on your answer sheet. Clues are underlined for you. Remember to make your module and answer sheet clean. Under the independent practice, here is another task for you. In the previous exercise, you will have your learning buddy with you. However, in this task, you will have to do it on your own. Read carefully the selections below. Answer the questions that follow. Choose and write the correct letter of the answer from the choices given to you. You are doing great so far. Here is another one. Complete the sentences below to make them correct. Choose the words in the box. So you are almost done. Enjoy answering this and other activity. Here in What I Can Do, fill the needed information in each graphic organizer based on the selection read. Let me guide on how you are going to do. Under the selection number 1, let us read, do you know how to fry fish? First, clean the fish. Next, put salt on it. Then, heat the oil in the pan. Lastly, put the fish in the pan and wait until it becomes golden brown. Here, you will write the procedure in the graphic organizer. What is the first thing you will do? Second, third, and last. Here in selection number 2, you will read the selection. You will put your answer beside the problem, and then you will put your solution beside the solution icon. In number 3, here, this is a descriptive text. You will read the paragraph, and then you will write what describes the earth on the given blanks. Here, under the post assessment, Choose the text type appropriate in each selection. Write the letter of your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Be reminded to keep your answer sheet and module neat. Congratulations! You have successfully finished this module. Here is the last one. Your friend has volunteered to clean your room for you. In your answer sheet, explain to your friend how to clean your room step by step. To give your friend the best instructions, you will need to be detailed about each task that needs to be done. You can use transition words to tell the steps to be followed. What are these signal words? We have first, second, next, then, lastly, or finally. You can write it in a paragraph form or by number. So, congratulations! You have finished all the activities. You may proceed to the answer key part of your module to check your answers. If you have questions or clarifications about this lesson, you may contact your teachers. This is your module on identifying various types according to structure, purpose, and language features, problem and solution, description, procedural or sequence. I hope you have enjoyed answering each task. Again, congratulations, and thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.
Hi! Welcome back to our mathematics class. I'm teacher Vanji. It's nice to meet you again. How are you today? Who is helping you in your studies? I guess your parents. To the parents or guardians, your support is very important because you're going to guide your child in doing the activities in this module. If your child is hard up in answering the activities, then you are there to support and assist. Before you proceed, you have to answer just the same the questions in the What I Know page. A 10-item pre-test. If you are done, self-check your answers. Refer to the answer key on page 22. If you got all the correct answers, you may decide to skip this module. If you did not get a perfect score, you have to proceed with this module. Let's recall. Let me see if you can still remember how to name the fractional part of the shaded portion. Let's start with this model. Name the fractional part of the shaded portion. What's your answer? The answer is 2/12. Next, the correct answer is 4/8. Another, the correct answer is 1/4. Did you get the correct answers? I will give you 3 stars. Another question. What part of each group is shaded? The correct answer is 1/2. Next, the answer is 3/5. Did you get again correct answers? Another 2 stars from teacher. Now, let me see also if you can illustrate the following set of fractions using the given shapes. We will use this shape in illustrating 1/2 and 5/6. The correct answer for 1/2 could be this illustration. Divide the whole into 2 equal parts, shade 1 part. Another, we divide the whole into 6 equal parts, shade 5 parts. For other illustration, for 1/2, you can also do like this. Another illustration for 1/2. It can also be like this. And then for 5/6 can also be like that. Did you get it? Very good. Next, we will use also circles. The circle shape to illustrate 3/4 and 1/8. The correct answer: divide the circle into 4 equal parts, shade 3 parts. Divide the circle into 8 equal parts, shade 1 part. Did you get also the correct answer? Another one, let's use also triangle shape. Illustrate 1/3 and 1/2. The correct answer: divide the triangle into 3 equal parts, shade 1 part. Divide the triangle into 2 equal parts, shade 1 part. So did you get the correct answers? Another 3 stars from teacher. So how many stars did you get in all? 8 stars. Now let's go now to our main lesson. Can you visualize multiplication of fractions using models? That is what we are going to learn today. Now we have here Mang Alfonso. Let's read the problem. Mang Alfonso owns a 3/4 hectare piece of land. He planted 1/3 of it with palay. What part of his land was planted with palay? How big is Mang Alfonso's land? Very good. He owns a 3/4 hectare piece of land. What part of it was planted with palay? He planted 1/3 of it with palay. Now, what are we going to find in the problem? We are going to find the part of the land planted with palay. So we say, what is 1/3 of 3/4? Of means you're going to multiply. So the number sentence is 1/3 times 3/4. We will solve the problem using illustration. A simple way to visualize or see fractions is using bar models. A fraction bar model is a drawing of a fraction using rectangles. So, let us first illustrate the second factor, which is 3/4. Let us draw a rectangle, divide it into 4 equal parts. We name that diagram A. This represents the 3/4 hectare land owned by Mang Alfonso. Next, let us illustrate the first factor, which is 1/3. Draw another rectangle, divide it into 3 equal parts. Shade 1 part. We name that as diagram B. This represents 1/3 part of the land planted with palay. Now, we did not get yet the answer for the problem. What we will do now is to place diagram B over diagram A. It will look like that. You notice there are already double shaded portion. How many small rectangles are double shaded? There are 3 double shaded parts. That will be our numerator. What will be our denominator? You count how many small rectangles in all in the rectangle. We have 12. So the answer is 3/12. Now the double shaded represents the part of the land planted with palay, which is 3/12. Therefore, he planted 3/12 part of his land with palay. As you can see, there is only a little portion of the land planted with palay. Now let's try another example. 2/3 times 1/5. What's the first thing to do again? Let us illustrate the second factor, which is 1/5. Draw a rectangle. Divide it into 5 equal parts. And then shade one part. That represents 1/5. After that, to represent 2/3, use the same rectangle. Divide the rectangle into 3 equal parts like this. Then shade 2 parts in different direction. That represents 2/3. Can you see again a double shaded portion? The answer there is the area where both of the shadings overlap each other. As you can see, the shadings overlap at the lower left corner of the rectangle. How many double shaded parts? We have 2 small rectangles. How many small rectangles in all? 15 rectangles in all. So our answer is 2/15. Can you follow? Let's have another example. What is the product of 3 times 2 and 1/5? Let us illustrate 2 and 1/5 3 times. We have 1 whole, another 1 whole, and 1/5. So all in all, that is 2 and 1/5. Another one, 1 whole, 1 whole, 1/5. Another 2 and 1/5. Another one, 1 whole, 1 whole, and 1/5. That is 2 and 1/5. So how many 2 and 1/5 are there? We have 3. You have learned before that multiplication also is a repeated addition. So all in all, 2 and 1/5 plus 2 and 1/5 plus 2 and 1/5. You add first the whole numbers. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 6. 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5, 3/5. So the answer is 6 and 3/5. When multiplying fractions, times means of. We use multiplication to find groups of something. Here is another example. 1/2 times 2 and 2/3 is the same as 1/2 of 2 and 2/3. How do we illustrate this equation? Illustrate first 2 and 2/3. Let us draw 3 rectangles. Shade the whole rectangle to represent as 1 whole. Shade also the second rectangle. Shade all in one direction. That is again 1 whole. For the last rectangle, we are going to shade 2 parts to represent 2/3. How about this 1/2? Divide each rectangle into 2 equal parts. Look at it. So shade in other direction 1 part. Then the last rectangle is 1/2. So how will you get the answer? Count how many shaded portion of rectangles. So 8 double shaded part. How about the numerator? count how many small rectangles in one rectangle. There are 6. So our answer is 8/6. Simplify that. It will become 1 and 2, 6. Did you understand how to visualize multiplication of fractions? You can proceed now to what's more. There are 3 activities and 3 assessments in this page. After that, you can proceed to what I have learned. Then proceed to what I can do. In the beginning, you have pre-test. You have also post-assessment. There are more additional activities to enhance your learnings. Okay? So I know you can do these activities. Try to answer them all. So goodbye and good luck.
Good morning. Once again, I am Dindin Lilo and I will be your teacher for now. Today, we will be learning about the safety precautions while executing the skills involved in the games. You are encouraged to actively engage yourself in exploring the module, read the topic discussion, do the learning activities, and watch the video provided. For your performance, try to video the correct execution of those skills. This is the module and PE6 entitled Safety Precautions while Executing the Skills Involved in the Games. I am the author. After the lesson, you are expected to observe safety precautions and execute the different skills involved in the game. In our previous lessons, you have learned to describe the skills involved in target games and striking or fielding games. Skills involved in target games were strategy and tactics, balance and footwork, focus and concentration, spatial and proximity, transferring and sending, hands and eyes accuracy, synchronization of the body parts, and power and speed. You also describe the skills involved in striking and or fielding games, which were the locomotor skills, non-locomotor skills, and manipulative skills. The pictures that I'm going to show you are needed for your safety during plays. Look at them carefully, then say something about each picture. First, clothing or proper attire to be worn during plays. Second, you can see people doing exercise. Third, a player visiting his doctor. Fourth, this shows weather or climate. And the last, these are sports equipment. There are safety precautions that you need to observe so that you will be away from accident while executing the skills. After doing all the activities in this module, you can properly execute the skills involved in playing games. At the same time, applying the safety precautions in playing. These are the safety precautions involved in playing games. First, stretching. As the picture shows a while ago, stretching is very important before you start to play a game. Second, attire in playing, you need to wear an appropriate attire so that you will be comfortable and you will be able to move freely. Third, equipment. Equipment is needed because we cannot play without them, but materials or equipment should be safe to use also. Fourth, weather. Weather should be considered in playing. If the weather is bad, better do it indoors. Fifth, health condition. You cannot play well if you feel weak or sick. Therefore, before a play, secure a medical clearance from your doctor.
Oh, what a start. The half volley punches down the ground. Perfect on.
Tapping my bat and my left foot shakes a little bit, like taps up and down my bat, and then once I'm in my position, I'm ready to go. I'm just watching the ball the whole way.
Oh, good shot. That's where he likes it. That's right in Aaron Finch's wheelhouse.
It's about watching the ball, making sure that your movements are pretty small and pretty precise.
And then as he gets closer, you sort of start switching focus from him to the ball, and then when he releases it,
He sweeps well, very well. There's 4 of them.
and then it's just pure reaction after that.
That's nicely played. It's through! Kawaja lays back on a cut and picks up a ton.
What's going on up here? One simple little drill that I would recommend that you try in the nets today if you are struggling with your weight distribution is simply the focus to sense your heel of your front foot going down and then the weight shifting through your front leg and onto your toes. So I'll show you in slow motion here, just from side on. I take my stance and I'm just going to do a shadow rehearsal without striking a ball, and I'm just going to make sure I lead with my head and front shoulder perfectly to the line of the ball, okay? And you'll see I'm just going heel, toe, and I'm just engaging that weight beautifully, all right? So watching one more time. I'll do it realistically now. Okay? And you'll see that the weight distribution is working nicely there. So just some little underarms or some throwdowns, even a bowling machine, and just being aware of feeling your heel touch. So when you commit your movement forward, you're feeling your heel touch the ground first and then onto your toes. All right. Naturally, you'll have a nice stable plant with that front foot, but you want to sense that weight going through the front leg beautifully. All right. So heel toe drill, real simple, and we'll show you a close up now.
So for me in the golf swing, what I would like to see when I'm talking about matching arms and body is at the top of the backswing, my arms and body are finishing the swing at the same time. In other words, I don't sort of turn and my arms overrun like this. That would be non-matched. The other part of matching I want to talk about is the placement in the arms in relation to the shoulders. So if I make a backswing here and my arm is pretty much matched across my shoulder line, I would say that's quite nicely matched. This, for example, would be very upright. This, for example, would be very flat. This potentially is underplaying. This potentially is overplaying. And these are just terminology that you can either love or hate. But essentially, depending on where your arms are in terms of playing, it means you have to move your body slightly differently on the way down. And in terms of matching it so your arms and body finish at the same time, for me, that all comes back to takeaway. So, what do I mean by that? So, in takeaway, for example, if we do what's called a kind of one-piece takeaway, which is, again, a very famous saying out there in golf technical terms. For me, one-piece takeaway means you're going to turn quite an awful lot at the start of your golf swing. Then from there, your arms are going to have to work a little bit independently. There will still be some turn, but the likelihood is we'll have a big turn early on, and the arms finish the swing. And we get what's called arm overrun. I'm not a huge fan of that. I would much rather see, from the setup, your arms initiate the swing and your body do very little initially. And then feel that the body and arms work as a unit to turn to the top, so that then we would get the feeling of finishing at the same time. Now, for the people out there that maybe don't turn enough, I would have no problem them turning a little bit earlier than what I'm saying, because then it's a kind of compensation or basically a preference to make their system work better. And that is ideal. You know, golf is all about finding things to make you work better as a golfer, and ideally fit into science that makes the golf ball go where we want it. Okay, so the drill I'm going to suggest people do, or the concept I'm going to suggest people do, if you like, is that we set up to the golf ball, feel our arms start to swing, very little body, then from there turn to the top and hit. Let me just try a ball doing that. So I'm here. Okay, not bad. Now, whenever we break a swing down like that, contact sometimes becomes much harder to achieve. So if you are trying that for the first 2 or 3 shots, don't panic if the ball doesn't go dead straight and the contact isn't good. It doesn't matter. We need to look at the kind of bigger picture. Does it affect and change your swing in a positive way that's going to help you play better golf and shoot lower scores? In terms of the plane, again, if we get the right kind of connection from here, so the arm stays connected to the body as we turn, we should find the arm matches its line at the top in a much more efficient way. And again, the lower arm is at the top, the more we can turn on the way down. If the arm raises at the top, we have to then drop the arm and stay still with our body rather than turn and rotate as we come down. There'll be some, again, compromising and sinking of the body and arms on the way down more so, which if you do it correctly and you hit great shots, there's no problem in. Let's just do that one again. So again, we're going to go back to the takeaway, feel the arms fold onto position, keep our connection, and then swing through.
Manipulative skills are motor skills that involve moving or using an object with the hands or feet to achieve a goal or complete a task. There are 12 manipulative skills in your textbook. Roll, throw, catch, kick, strike, volley, dribble with the hands, dribble with the feet, punt, set shot, overhand serve, and pass. Roll, forcing an object or body to continuously turn over and over. Step opposite, throwing with your dominant hand, throw with one, and catch with two. Kick, using the foot to impart force to an object. There are two types of kicks, laces and the instep kick. Strike, using an object or body part to impart force on another object. Volley, using the forearms, quote, pass, or hands, quote, set, to propel an object vertically. Here's a pass. Now here's a set. Dribble with hands, using the hands to repeatedly push a ball towards the ground. You can dribble right, dribble left, or back and forth. Dribble with feet, using the feet to repeatedly push a ball forward or sideways on the ground. Punt, dropping a ball from the hands, quote, drop to self, and kicking it into the air to propel it up and forward. Set shot, using both hands to propel, quote, throw, a ball up and forward, quote, in curved pathway toward a basketball goal. Overhand serve, using the dominant hand to strike a ball, quote, above one's head after the ball is tossed. Pass, using both hands to throw a ball to a teammate. Chest pass. Bounce pass.
The next thing I want to talk to you about is the transfer and throw. When I transfer and throw the ball, I don't want to think about catching the ball. When I think about catching the ball, I think about extension. What I want to think about is receiving the ball. Alligator arm. You don't want to extend this elbow to catch the ball when a runner's stealing a base. You want to catch that ball as deep as possible so that glove can start to turn towards the hand. Now, after we get that glove to turn the ball towards the hand, I want to grab the ball out of the glove. I don't want to flip. You see what happens? I do not want to flip the ball. I want to transfer that ball to the hand and separate. I want to bring the elbow back right when I get that ball in my hand, and I want to separate the glove to get extension and reach so I can have something to pull with. The mindset here is bow and arrow. Now, some of the problems you'll see with young players is they'll take the ball out of the glove and start to either drop or extend back. The thing I want to really focus on is keeping this elbow, this throwing elbow, less than 90 degrees. Once you get this throwing elbow past 90 degrees, that's what we call extension. You want to keep this elbow inside 90 degrees. Elbow goes back first, ball comes around the ear, and the only time this elbow actually extends is out in front. That's how we stay short, that's how we stay quick, that's how we store that energy to release it on the finish. Now that we've talked about the transfer path and everything with the upper body, I want to focus on the lower half and the feet. If I'm throwing to second base, I want to start out by drawing myself a line from the back corner of the plate straight back. This is going to help me line my feet up to second base so that I'm not throwing with an open stance and not throwing with a closed stance. I want to focus on keeping my weight back. I want to focus on my knee being in front of my foot, the weight on my foot being on the inside of the foot, and being in a good power position to throw. Now we can stop right here, we can check ourselves, and make sure we're in that good power position. Now that we've talked about the upper half and the lower half in the transfer and throw, let's talk about the timing between the two. When I transfer the ball to this hand, I want it to happen before I shuffle this first foot. The more time I have with the ball, the better grip I'm going to get and the more accurate I'm going to be. If I wait until this foot hits and then rush my transfer, then I'm going to bobble, then I'm going to have a bad grip, then I'm going to make a bad throw. If I get that ball to the hand before that right foot hits the ground, then I'm going to be in a better position to throw the ball, make a better accurate throw, and make a harder throw. Here's how it looks. One last point I want to touch on in the transfer and throw, and I get asked this all the time, is how far do I gain ground towards second base when I throw? The golden rule I like to use is if I dropped a string from my chin in my stance to the ground and drew a dot right here in front, and that's where I want to gain ground with my right foot on the shuffle. Now obviously different pitches will take me in different spots, but that's just the golden rule for if the ball's right here. I want my foot to land right on that dot, and then I shuffle my feet towards where I'm going. Okay, now I'd like to talk a little bit about the throw to third base. The transfer and the footwork and the timing of that are all the same as second base. The only difference is the direction. Obviously, if I have a right-handed hitter in the box, I'm going to have to work around that hitter. What I want to do is go behind that hitter unless the throw takes my momentum out and around. So even if the throw is a little bit this way, I still want to come around the right-handed hitter to throw to third base. If the throw takes my momentum out in the other batter's box, then I want to step and throw in front of the right-handed hitter. Now let's talk about picking the runner off at first base. There's two different ways we can do this. We can either do this from our feet and shuffle, turn our hips, get directed towards first base, or we could drive the knee across and throw from a knee. Either way, in throwing the ball to first base and picking guys off, we have to catch and really get our shoulders turned so that we can get our hips turned as well. Whether it be from a knee or from the feet, we really have to drive this side across so that we can square our shoulders to the direction that we're throwing. And now that we've talked about some of the transfer and throwing techniques, now I want to give you some of the drills that will make you more accurate, more consistent, and give you a lot more arm strength. Now the first drill I want to talk about, and it's the most simple drill we'll do, is the transfer and separate drill. What I want to do is go in with my index finger and my middle finger on top and separate. I don't want to turn that hand over and separate out like this because I'll get that little loop. What I want to do is stay more direct, so I go straight into the glove and separate. Notice my elbows are down. What that's going to do in the whole scheme of things is keep my butt down. If my elbows get up like this, my butt comes up and I get out in front of my hands. If I keep my elbows down and transfer the right way, my butt will stay down and I'll have a low center of gravity through the ball. So the drill, to make it simple, is just working on the hands transferring. Now the next drill I want to do is basically the same as the transfer and separate, but I've got a ball coming at me and I've got to work on receiving the ball. Don't reach. You want to alligator arm, keep it bent. That's a quicker route to the hand. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to catch, transfer, and separate. Okay, the next drill in the sequence is basically just adding that first step to the transfer and separate. Basically, all I'm trying to do here is get the sequence down to get my transfer ahead of that first step. If I get my first step ahead of the transfer, then everything's thrown off from that point. I want to get the sequence down, transfer, step, and now we're going to go to the next step. Now that we have our first step down after the transfer and separate, we're going to incorporate that second step. Make sure we get in line with second base. That's what we're working on here. Getting in line to second base, transfer, step, step. Notice, the feet did not hit at the same time. The right foot hits before the left foot. Now that we've got all the individual components, we're going to put it all together for the transfer and throw. Now, an extra tool you can use when working on your transfer and shuffle is the medicine ball. What we're going to do is have your partner toss it right in front of the plate, bounce it right up to you. You're going to stay underneath, catch, turn the ball, shuffle your feet. Notice, I gained a little bit of ground forward, but my left foot never went past the plate.
This is your module on the safety precautions in playing while executing the skills involved in these games. I hope you still have the energy and excitement in accomplishing the activities. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Programa abinukel iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet, tapno agtultuloy nga maipaayan ti adal, dagiti patpatgen ken dungdungwen tayo nga anak, nga agbasbasa, uray ita agdama a pandemya. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Na isang sangaya na programa iti radyo nga pakaitampukan iti napateg nga ad-adal. Ad-adal nga mainaig iti panagbasa ti anak tayo a maibinsa-binsa. Babaen iti panangipalpalawag dagiti nasisirib ken nasasariri nga manursuro. Isuda dagiti mamaestra ken mamaestro tayo iti DEP-ED Benguet nga inkay makadkadwa iti tangatang. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Alang arod patpatgan mi nga masansanay, agbasbasa ken papagayam, awisen mi amin da kayo adungeg iti daytoy nga programa. Ket kabayatan tinkay panagdengdengeg, ipaayan mi da kayo ti umdas ken naan-anay nga impormasyon wenno pakaammo amang iwanwan iti inkay panang sungbat kadagiti na idatag nga saludsod ken aktibidades iti learning modules yo. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Di Kabenguetan.
Isagsagot kada kayo iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet. Ken daytoy nga istasyon. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Di Kabenguetan.
Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZBS Baguio, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Nang magpa-check up sa Rollins Natural Health and Wellness Center sa pamamagitan ng iris scan camera at computer, natukoy ang kanyang mga mahihinang karamdaman at uminom ng detoxifier na tulungan ang kanyang mga karamdaman. Nagnormal po ang lahat. Pakinggan po natin ang kanyang boses sa ating programa, Ang Tunay at Totoo. Si